Top of the morning to you. This episode is brought to you by the St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers, Manscaped. This year, don't just chase rainbows, make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders in below the kilt care. Say goodbye to your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and let your confidence shine bright. Embrace the look of the Irish and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com, use the code SHOW20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Ever since I've used Manscaped, I can proudly say I've found my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Meet your new lucky charm for St. Patrick's Day, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This trimmer comes with two interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, one for a classic trim and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. Equipped with dual LED spotlights, navigate your shamrock path in peace. Worried you'll make a mess? Fear not. This wonder is waterproof. Shave by the misty moors, under a waterfall, or even during a rain dance. Its compact case makes it an ideal companion, ready for any adventure or last-minute plans. Trimming the hedges in your Irish garden isn't just for below the belt. Complete your look with Manscaped's signature Beard Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Whether you're sculpting your beard or cleaning up your neckline, these are always the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOW20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOW20 at manscaped.com. This St. Patrick's Day, make sure your little hairy leprechaun is luckier than ever with Manscaped. Hello everyone and welcome to the FM show. I am your host Tony Jameson and joining me this week is the boy wonder himself, Aaron aka RDF Tactics. How are you, my man? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We will speak about it a little later on, but I don't know. Every time there's a little update from Football Manager, I've just got this smile on my face and this urge to play FM. I don't know. So like yesterday, I don't know if anyone is on the Twitter. My Twitter is at RDF Tactics, and obviously there was a little update, and we'll talk about it again later on. But some players got attribute boost, so I was just like, you just go around looking for things, and that's just coming across some funny names. There's a Thierry Henry playing in Brazil, by the way. He's about 6'3". Yeah. I was like, what is going on? Well, apparently he's always been in the game, but obviously I wasn't never searching for a Thierry. Someone was like, you've never seen him in the game? I was like, well, Thierry Henry did retire a few years ago, so I wouldn't be searching his name in Football Manager. But yeah, that's what I'm coming across those little things. So yeah, it's always a little decent time for me to, when FM update their game a little bit.
See, I think there's two schools of thought with it, isn't there? There's one which you've gone for, which is like, yeah, this is brilliant, like, you know, we've got like a new thing. And then there's everyone else who goes, shit, me tactics doesn't work anymore.
There's that thing. I've always wanted to ask them as well. Is that like it's just a superstition or not a superstition, a conspiracy that we've just created? Or
it's 100%.
It has to be in it.
100%. Like there's no way.
Like, I might understand it if there was like big changes to the game. I might understand that, but when it's like a data update and then people are like, well, my tactics not working, it's like, well, it's literally the same match engine as before. So what's happened?
That's the thing, isn't it? Like because the data, like the obviously the update list has been published, and we'll talk a little bit about what's on it and what's not. But there's no match engine updates, so the tactics have to stay the same. There is nothing that has changed in the game that means your tactics won't work. And I think I was quite smart to this. I made sure my tactics stopped working before the update.
To be fair, with me, I'm always looking for someone to blame when things go wrong. So I was just like, as soon as I lose that first game, it's the bloody update. So that's me. I think everyone else must have that little thing as well. Just something to blame.
100%, 100%. It's got to be our fault. We're the managers. Like,
Exactly.
we've played this game 30 years, Aaron. Me and you, if it's not us that's wrong, is it? It's the developers that are wrong and the game that's
Oh
wrong.
man, I generally have those moments though. Like I'm playing a game, especially when creating a tactic, and I'm like, it's not working. I'm just sat there, but I've been playing this game for how long? What is going on here? But yeah, Football Manager always can throw you a curveball here and there. But it's always
Absolutely.
a learning. It's always a learning little learning session as well when I'm doing tactics. Just finding that little things that you can and can't do.
But and that's what it's all about, though, right? Really, isn't it? Like we've always said, like no matter how long we've played this game for, we still say that every single week there's something else you can learn on the game. Like rewind back. If you've not seen it from a couple of weeks ago, by the way, watch the episode where we started looking at game management scenarios. Okay, one episode where Aaron's tweaking away, going, "This will work. This will work. This will work." We lose on screen, right? And there's the other episode where it's like, "Hey, let's try this," and all of a sudden the game completely flips around.
Yeah,
we've got it nailed. So there's things, of course, that you can do. There's things that you can learn.
Yeah.
Like currently, and I'm going to give you an example of sort of where I think I'm at with regards to. I don't think the tactics change pre and post patch because, right? Obviously, as you all know, over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tony Jameson FM, I'm currently building a nation in Greece.
Ooh.
As Larissa, the viewers, of course, watching on the YouTube channel will notice I am sporting a Larissa jersey, right? I'm wearing this season's Larissa shirt. It's a belter as well, but look at this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the colour, to be fair. I love that colour.
The Crimson Horses, they're called, Aaron. The Crimson Horses. And obviously you can't get them fairly easily in the UK. So what we've done is we've been really fortunate that there's been loads of people from the local area coming into the stream being like, oh, Larissa's my team. I love watching them. So we sort of went, look, who can get us a shirt sorted?
Yeah.
And shout out to a name I think you're going to approve of here, Aaron. Shout out to Giroux Lover. That's a way to make yourself known in my stream, innit? Going like, I love Giroux. I was like, everyone does. So he pops in and he goes, oh, Larissa's my team and that. I live like 5 minutes from the stadium. Wow. I go to the games all the time. I'm like, right, can you get us a shirt? Like, I'll send you the money.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no worries. So he follows me up on Instagram and that, and he sends me like a few DMs and pictures of like actually photographs of pictures in the shop. So I'm like, all right, okay, you've probably not net them from Google, so they might be legit. and then I do, of course, what nobody really needs to do in any situation, and I send money to a stranger over the internet and my address. And so there you go. Have some money and my address, and I'm sure you're bound to send me.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, anyone listening, you would obviously never advise doing this, but just like from me as a content creator, from my angle, what I can see and how people engage with me, like they are strangers, of course, but when it's something like that, I don't know why I'm comfortable with it. Because I don't know, it's the community, it's within the community sort of thing. Whereas I wouldn't do that anywhere else. Like nowhere else. There's no way. I've never spoken to you before. I've never seen you. There's no way I'm giving you my address and money. But I don't know, for some reason in this little thing, because I've done something similar as well. And I was like, But I don't know. I didn't have the second thought. Even like with thumbnails, it's just like, I'm just gonna pay you. Like you ask for £20, just send it, and then you just got this. You just know that they're gonna send the thumbnail over to you.
Yeah. Well, I was like, it'll be fine. It'll totally be fine. Like I've been around this earth long enough to know better than this. But I was like, it'll be fine. Don't worry. So I send the money, and then your man goes like, all right, it'll be with you in a week, and it's gone through DHL and that's so I've got a tracking number. I've got a tracking number. But even then, there's no guarantees that what's in the package is what's in the package. And so we did my 12-hour 3-year anniversary on Twitch stream the day before the shirt turned up, and I was like, of all the times, like it would have been amazing for it to have turned up. We could have worn it for the full 12 hours. But I spent most of the 12 hours talking to the chat going, what do you think's actually going to turn up in anything? Like, because we were going, been scammed, haven't I? I've totally been scammed. And then on the Monday, it turned up, and we opened it on stream. And again, wasn't 100% sure what was in it, but it had the Greek sort of like customs details on the front. And
okay.
I was like, we're going to go with it. And we opened it up, and of course, and here it is. So the
Yes.
shirt's there. So shout out to Giroud Lover for that. But the actual save itself, Aaron, and I'm aware I've taken up a massive start of the show here. 12 hours, we managed to get a whole season done since last week, right?
Oof.
So we've had a bit of stuff to talk about now.
Oof.
I know we finished season. Let me backtrack here. Season 7, we finished in Europe. Remember, we're talking about that. We got into we finished third, and we're like, oh, that's brilliant. Well, we ended up with the Euro Conference League football. Got to last 16. Got knocked out by Spurs. We got knocked out in the semi-finals of the Greek Cup, and we, just did what we had to do. It was fine, right? Finished third. Quite happy with that. We then rebuilt in the summer, bought some players with money, which is not what we expected. Okay, not what we expected, right? We then got to the point where season 8 started fairly well. Did fine. Got ourselves knocked out of the Euro League, straight back into the conference where we know we feel nice and safe and welcome. League form's doing okay.
Yeah.
Gets to January, and I'm like, we need something else. We need something just to kick on, because we're sat in fourth. Not any threat of dipping out, not any threat of really challenging. So we figured we needed goals. Okay? So we needed goals. We needed a supply line. So we brought in Kaki, the lad from Man City, the Brazilian winger.
Right? Yeah.
Free transfer. Brought him in.
Ooh.
Thought he should bring some sort of decent levels of assists or sort of creativity in. And brought in Jonah Kuzi Azare.
Oh, yeah. I saw that tweet. He should do well in Greece. He should.
Well, he had 24 games to prove how good he was between January and the end of the season, including games in Europe, of course. Yeah. And he scored 21 goals in those 24 games and became the top goal scorer in the Greek league.
No.
He was in there for half a season.
That's just nonsense. That's ridiculous.
So he blasts all them in. Kaki's got the highest assists in the league, and he's been there half a season. Them two are dominating best player in the league. What doesn't quite transpire is my defense have forgotten what they're supposed to do. So this is where the tactics go all over the place. And we're just I think we won 13, drew 10, lost 12 in the season. And going into the final game, because obviously the top 5 get into Europe, the team who is 6th don't get into Europe. And the game before the final match of the season, penultimate match of the season, we slipped to 6th.
Oh.
Which meant our last game of the season was against Volosh, who were 5th, 1 point above us. We're at home.
It's a must win. Oh.
We have to win. Oof. Anything else, we don't qualify for Europe, and it's been a waste of a season. So what we do is we smash them 5-1. Absolutely. The best football I've ever seen us play that season. We were incredible. Kuzi Azare gets a hat-trick. Everyone's having a brilliant time. So we make ourselves into Europe, and then we've spent the summer recruiting even more, because we were given £12 million as a transfer budget. Ooh. We've never seen 12 million quid. So first thing I do, loads of free transfers, obviously. Get some Greek lads in. Got some good young Greek players in there. Player from Asteras, Stabaloglu, good midfielder. Yeah. They're called Koltzis, good centre-back from Olympiakos. And I'm going, we need strikers. We need firepower. And I was like, JK, he's got to come. He was out of contract, then Bayern extend his contract. I'm like, he's not coming. And then so we plump for possibly one of the greatest named players I've ever seen, Nando Toggenberger. Genuine name.
Is that a Nugent?
No, he's a real player, right? Whoa. He's a real player. He plays for Luzern in Switzerland.
Yeah.
He's 27. He's still not an international, but he's called Nando Toggenberger.
Wow.
So we give him the number 5. Nando number 5, obviously up front. And you know what?
Oh my
He's
days.
brilliant. He's brilliant.
Why does he sound tall? Or like
he does sound tall, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel I'm gonna be disappointed.
He's a decent size. I think he's like 6'3", 6'2".
Oh, okay,
So
yeah,
he's good.
yeah.
He's got the sort of face on the game where you'd imagine him with a little twirly mustache, like a little hipster mustache. So we brought him in, and he's fantastic. And we've also brought in Kuziazari permanently.
Oh,
6 million quid, 50 grand a week wages, Aaron.
But I mean, if you can score that many goals in half a season, I think it may be worth it just to pay that 50 grand. The only issue is when everyone's like, "Hey, he's on 50, I'm on 10." You should look it up, like, boss man, come on.
Well, what I need to say though to them is going, well, you see what he did in half a season. You lot do that. You get his wages.
I could just imagine it as well. And like sometimes I offer a contract, and it's like, yeah, I really want to keep you. I'm going to give you the contract. Next week, the left back's asking for one, the right winger's asking for one, the DM's asking for one, and it's like sometimes it's frustrating because it's like I can't actually argue with you because you lot are literally performing and we're overachieving right now, so I can't argue. But come on, it's a bit excessive, lads. Come on.
We've got a Brazilian lad called Janinho, right? He's a little defensive midfielder, plays down both fullbacks positions as well, right?
Yeah,
he's pretty versatile. He looks like quite decent. But Benfica wanted him. So I was like, right, about 10 million quid, gone, we'll reinvest, okay?
Yeah.
So Benfica come in with a bid, Porto come in with a bid, and then his agent comes in going, can we have a new contract with a minimum fee release clause? I was like, you want a contract to leave? You're already leaving.
No, no, that one's there. It's a trap. It's a trap. Yeah, that one's a trap, man. Especially when you're those certain teams, though. When you are those certain teams that you are, it is when you've got a good player, the agent can be pretty smart. This is one thing that I do love, absolutely love about Football Manager. The agent sometimes can be pretty smart. They can recognize that their client is actually really good. He probably shouldn't be playing at that level. So, yeah, we want a new contract, but the release cost has to be 15 million.
I would take that. I would absolutely take that. I was happy to accept 10 million, but I was just going, we're literally in the process of selling it. We don't need the bid's going to get accepted.
Yeah, I like it though, because I guess I can hold him for a little bit longer. But the only issue there is you can't increase, obviously, his value because no matter what, anyone that wants him has to pay that set fee, which sometimes it's too low. I'd rather sell you. That's the issue I was going to come to as well. Sometimes that value is like, it's not worth it. You might as well just try and sell now. But that initial contract talk there, it kind of tells me, we can either keep you or we have to sell you one now, sort of thing. Yeah, because your contract is also expiring in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see. We'll see. He might leave. We'll probably need to leave to balance the books to pay for Kuziazari, but I mean, at the end of the day, we even got the notification that he sold loads of shirts. So,
to be fair,
pay for himself, innit?
To be fair, all you need to do then is just sign that Dujon Sterling. I don't know if you've seen the tweet, but there is a player. There's a player that can play in literally every position, which is mental because it's not like it's an orange. They're all green, like all positions that he's either accomplished or natural. Everything from centre back to left wing to up front. So I was thinking of a challenge to try and win the league with Rangers, but make sure this guy has played in every single position.
Oh, speaking of Rangers, this is a one, and I don't know if you've spotted this at all, or listeners, if you have, let us know. But do you remember Stephen Davis, Northern Irish midfielder? Yeah, played for Villa, played for Rangers. He showed up on my coach's applications, right? Because I was looking for some new backroom staff. So I thought, all right, put a little advert out, see who's going to reply. I was looking for a goalkeeping coach, Aaron. And you know Stephen Davis, the midfielder, who wasn't a goalkeeper? Right?
No way.
Well, he gets in touch, and it turns out he's an incredible goalkeeper coach. He's got goalkeeping attributes of 16, 15, 18. He can't coach outfield players, But Stephen Davis, the midfielder, is one of the best goalkeeping coaches on the game.
He's just managing, just asking, I need a defensive coach. And Ronaldo's there knocking on the door. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, like you'd never ring Kasper Schmeichel for defensive coaching, would you?
Oh my days. That's crazy.
Interesting one. I've hogged up enough of this start though, Aaron. Like, what about yourself? Where are you up to on your travels at the minute?
Well, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of tactics again as usual. I just absolutely love doing the tactics. Recently, I've been figuring out ways to get my wingers to score more, sort of thing. So I found out, right? So we always have this. By the way, I haven't cracked anything magical. By the way, it's not going to happen like. It's not all of a sudden going to get your wingers to score 50 goals, but it's more of the idea, sort of a thing like, that makes sense. So we always want our inside forwards to be making those runs in between the fullback and the centre back. But often we do also play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. And often we don't actually check how many players are running into the channels. So for an example, if I'm playing a 4-2-3-1, if my attacking midfielder is a shadow striker and I'm using a striker advanced forward, those two players are going to be moving into the channels, which means my wingers aren't going to be like, hey, that's my space. They're just going to stay out wide and be like, I can't move there. Someone's already there. I'm going to stay wide, sort of thing. So then I found ways that actually, if I use a playmaker, for an example, and a poacher, those are pretty sort of players that are not going to move into the channel. And that then allows the wingers. So that's why I've got a Leeds tactic. So I was kind of like, hey, how does Daniel Farke play, sort of thing? And I just wanted to, I don't know, because Somerville for Leeds, he's on fire at the moment. So I was like, I'm trying to replicate that. Yeah, I want to replicate that. And then that's how I came across it. So I was like, trying deep lying forward, and it's like, but Somerville is never getting in those positions. And then I think I changed him to a pressing forward, and I had already a playmaker, so the pressing forward on support, so he's not going to move into the channels. And then I started noticing more of those runs into the channels from both wingers. I was like, that makes sense. So now I was trying to go overboard and start using Ram Deuters and stuff. I started going a bit OTT with it.
Underused. Like, I like it whenever you're in game and suddenly someone goes, I'm a Ram Deuter, and you're like, oh yeah? Are you sure? You sure?
Muller? Is that you, Muller?
Because you play for Rochdale. I don't think you are.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing on Football Manager recently, just been coming across. And like just those roles as well, those underused roles. Not so much the Ram Deuter, I haven't tried that, but things like Enganche I'm trying to use, trying to incorporate in tactics, because it's actually a challenge, because in Enganche holds his position, dribbles less, and most of us like our attacking tactics, and already he kind of ruin your attacking flow simply just by holding his position and dribbling less. So it's like finding little ways that I can kind of get the best out of him and the best out of others around him as well.
See, I like the idea of an Enganche, right?
Yeah.
I like the idea of an Enganche, because for me, that still feels like an attacking role. Because all he is the focal point. So because the focal point basically him, that allows everyone else to move around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I love the idea of what's the people used to always say, like, people make space by not moving, like, because everyone else is running around. I think therefore that if an Enganche is there, then let him have the ball and let everyone else run off him. Like, for me, just feels like a great thing.
Sort of like a decoy player as well.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah. So like, well, you can mark him, but we've got dangerous players everywhere else. So that's sort of, you can mark him, allow you to mark him, but
it's where I loved like how like the original sort of like deep line forwards sort of came into the game, where they dropped deep to pick the ball up to let the wingers bomb on behind them, or let those overloads happen. So I do quite like that. I need to experiment more with an Enganche, but I just don't know. I don't know where to fit them, to be honest.
I've been having sort of issue as well. So I've been on the SI forums as well, and it's like the whole community. Like, this is another good thing about Football Manager as well. Sometimes the community, especially on that forum, if you do ask a tactical question, you will get a lot of help as well. So that's where I've been. And there's like other people, it's weird, like other people try to start now creating tactics with Enganche, and there's like, which is people just finding different little ways of trying to incorporate an Enganche in different ways as well. Obviously, if I'm doing it in a 4-2-3-1, someone else might want to try a different formation or whatever it is. So that's what's been popping off recently.
I like it. We should also say things that are popping off in terms of improvements.
Yes.
We've had Patreon has been popping off. We had amount of new people flocking to Patreon. So thank you, of course, to everyone who's done that. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had Michael Brampton, we've had Lewis, we've had Kev Vicarian, I think it is, and Brian Clinton. So close. Brian Clinton is in named after the Card Factory, I believe. So nice to have you in as part of the Patreon. Of course, if you are interested, join the Patreon. Aaron, where can they find it?
They can find it at www.patreon.com/the FM Show Pod. That is patreon.com/the FM Show Pod.
Love it. And of course, welcome to everyone who has recently followed the show off the back of the Work the Space episode. And does anybody understand J5 or whatever it was that we're talking about? The most crazy league structure in world football. What a description that was. That clip went around the place and everyone's just getting in touch going, this sounds daft, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, we can't get our head around it. And one thing we can get our head around, though, Aaron, is the list of players who have had a nice little bump in the data update. Do you want to talk us through players that maybe you hadn't signed before, but maybe you might want to cast your eyes over now?
Yes, of course. So taken from the byline as well, the official Football Manager blog. Congratulations to Oscar Bob, Victor Boniface, Jack Hinshelwood. Is that how you pronounce his name there? Oh, yeah. Gosh, let's go. Joe Bellingham, the real Bellingham. Michael Coyote, yes. Alexander Pavlovic at Bayern Leverkusen or Bayern Munich. That should be Bayern Munich. Johnny Rowe at Norwich. Ali Al-Hamadi at Ipswich Town now. Cameron Puertas, I believe, over in Belgium. Sammy, this is where the names start to get... I think Football Manager did this on purpose. This is where the pronunciations get a bit difficult for me.
Sammy Schmoddix.
There we go. That's the fella. Matthias Kipsgarden.
Yeah. I like how you went with that. I'm not doing the Greek name. I should try and do it.
And the last one, we have Aspotolos Stamatopoulos. Yeah.
The lad at Newcastle Jets.
Yeah. So when you open Football Manager, go to Newcastle Jets and you'll find the Greek lad there. Honestly, the surname, it does look like it is. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to pronounce. I don't even want to attempt
Stamatopoulos?
Ooh. Now,
Maybe?
See, that sounds very good.
Sounds close enough, doesn't it?
Yeah, that sounds really good. That goes. That goes for me.
Yeah.
So all of those players, by the way, they did receive attribute upgrades in this game, but so did many other players as well, of course, because Football Manager did go through over 6 million database changes since the initial release of FM24.
So that includes, therefore, January transfer window update.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As Miles has already said on Twitter, does not include Manchester United's recent sort of takeover-ish thing with Ratcliffe. Doesn't include Everton's points deduction. So there's still some stuff that, of course, isn't really in the game because of the times of the data lock.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Some stuff will have passed. Some managers will still be in a job according to the game who maybe aren't in a job in real life. But hey, you know what? 6 million changes, Aaron. That can't be sniffed at. That's pretty hard going, right?
Yeah, that's crazy work, innit? Sometimes we sit there thinking, what do they do all day? But that's what they're doing. That's what they do. But there's also gameplay UI changes as well. So, of course, make sure you go and check out the actual official change list on the forum or Open Football Manager. But some stuff like the transfer, I don't know if you've seen the transfer bug that people have been showing out so far recently. People have been buying Mbappe for around £2 million, which is mental. But SI did fix that. They did fix that. The Champions League as well, knockout stage ball has been updated. The Spanish club where registering low squad sizes, that issue was also fixed as well. So some of you may have come across little issues within the game, and many of those have been addressed as well. So if you do believe you've got an issue, make sure you go and check out the bug tracker that you can go and put your bugs down, but also go and check out the change list as well.
Yeah, again, it is lengthy.
It's lengthy. So I did have a plan to kind of go through it, but then I started looking at the bullet points. I'm like, yeah, this is a bit lengthy.
I mean, but the thing is that there is some good stuff in there. Like, and right. So before we get into it, I like the fact it's lengthy, okay, because that shows that that they are going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. No game's ever perfect when it's released. It's impossible, right? Because you're doing video games, right? Like, some people, of course, will kick off and go, well, you know, the game is released, it shouldn't need to be patched so early on. Like, but games get patched early on. That's what it is. People, the games companies of all companies take, you know, feedback of things that work, things that can be tweaked, things that don't quite play out with the amount of hours and the amount of people that are playing stuff to spot things. To then have a second patch, some companies, again, would just leave you high and dry after the first patch and go, well, sorted it. It's up to you lot now. You've got your own communities to fix this. The fact that we all have pretty much direct access via the bugs reporting facility, via the forums. We know that people take notice of what's being said. So some of the stuff that's in here is fantastic that you wouldn't notice until you are playing so regularly. Like fixed issue where VAR is missing in the knockout stages. Like
I've never spotted that, to be honest.
No.
Unless I'm complaining. That's the only reason. That looks offside. Hey, where's the VAR? That's the only way. That is the only way I would have spotted that.
Yeah, fixed issue where staff responsibilities disappeared randomly. How are you spotting that?
These are things that I never would have noticed. But obviously certain people are noticing, and it's nice that their issues are being fixed as well.
I like this here. Fixed issue where top clubs were signing too many centre-backs.
That's where my Saliba went. Jeez.
Yeah, definitely. And also as well, it does say that Jurgen Klopp and Xavi won't leave their clubs at the end of the season.
See, now this is what made me, I was going to say that it does spark interest in new saves as well. So this is what made me think, I want to skip a year and see who actually does go over to Barcelona and Liverpool organically rather than me having to do a video about it. Now we can kind of see how Football Manager will let it play out. I'm really intrigued about that one. And I hope I don't get disappointed by, like, don't know, the assistant manager taking over or something. I want to see something shocking. Or, of course, see Xavi Alonso in the game go to Liverpool. And then I would like to see how that plays out as well in the game. That would be amazing.
Or he goes to Bayern Munich or Barcelona. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
There's options. That's in real life. Never mind just in game. There's so many options. I can already feel people about to tweet angry things at me going, of course he's going to Liverpool. Who knows? Speaking of angry and interesting tweets, Aaron, you had an absolute banger this week. You stoked the fire, didn't you?
Yeah, so I didn't really think that it was going to get so many replies as well. There's some interesting replies to it as well. So the tweet did read, how much do you trust or rely on match ratings in Football Manager? And does it affect your decisions? For an example, you're 2-1 up. Do you take off your central midfielder that is playing a 6.6? But before we answer and get into it, make sure you leave your answers and whatever in the comment section, which is easier for you. So whether it's Spotify comment or a YouTube comment, email, whatever it is, let us know how you do your substitutions.
I saw that and that made me think really, really hard because I don't like on the face of it, it's a really easy question to answer, isn't it? Your central midfielder's playing 6.6, get him off. We're 2-1 up. But does 6.6 mean bad? Does 6.6 mean good?
Exactly. Exactly. And it also gets to the point as well. So I think I should have reworded the first little bit, how much do you trust? I think I should have reworded that. But what I was kind of getting at is, do you believe that in the game, it is the little things that you need and see for your tactic, does the game value that? So for an example, if I'm using an Enganche, it's often that he's getting a 6.6 or a 6.7. But if he's doing his job as in being stationary and just linking play, being at vocal point without getting the goal or assist, it doesn't mean that he's had the bad game. It might just mean that Football Manager, I'm not giving your attacker a good rating because he hasn't got that goal or an assist, that's what I was kind of getting at. And I was interested in seeing how people do it. And there's even people like mentioning their roles as well. Like, I will never take off my ball winning midfield. I was like, I just would never have thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, but then when people say stuff like that, you kind of understand it. It's like, he's your ball winner for a reason. You leave him on. And there's some interesting questions, answers. The main thing I took from it though, people rely a lot on the stamina. The moment they see someone knackered, off. Now, in Football Manager, I'm not sure how it exactly works, which is a good thing as well. So we can kind of have a conversation like, do you take off a James Milner? If James Milner is tired, do you take him off? Or
James Milner has never been tired, ever.
But this is what I was kind of getting at, right? So he could be a little bit tired, but he's still got that determination, that work rate and fitness to get through it. So do you take him off for fresher legs, or is it because it's James Milner you can keep him on? Or does that heart tank mean the same thing for everybody? If you're tired, sort of thing.
So for my current save, and this is kind of when I saw this, I was going, right, that's where my head initially went to. Like, because we didn't have a massive squad, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a massive squad of quality beyond the starting 11.
Yeah.
So I was probably playing my starting 11 a little bit too much. So I was thinking towards the back end of the season, everyone's injury potential is quite high. The hearts are dropping to like oranges pretty early on in the game. Like we started like 2/3 green probably, but then drops to orange. A couple of players are blown out their backsides by the end of the match because I don't have another left back, for example. Like, so he has to play 90 minutes. Like those moments in time, if a player's done, then he should already have been subbed off. I shouldn't have allowed him to get to that point. Right? That's on me, right? So I look at the amount of energy that player's gonna expunge. Is it expunge? Like the amount of energy that they're gonna sort of like
have to use for their role. Yeah.
So if you've got a ball-winning midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder, that's an energetic role. Yeah. But if they're starting to get tired, then I'm going to look on my bench to go, right, in the event that he needs to do a lot more work, have I got someone on there to go and take that strain, right? If it's maybe like a centre-back who's up against one forward, he's not up against three forwards, or he's not up against two, I might be able to go, you know what, you have a bit of a rest. Your other fella who stood next to you, he can do most of the dirty work. We might even switch you round if needs be. You can man mark, you have a bit of a rest, just watch for the balls going over the top. Like, if you're the deep line playmaker, maybe just don't run as much. But you know what I mean? Like there's ways you can sort of mitigate that. Like go from attacking to support. Maybe you're not having to dial it up as much. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. But it's interesting because already, like, I've just seen like two different managers. So you'll be like, right, my ball winner. In order for my ball winner to be able to do his job to a high standard, he kind of has to be fit because he needs to be all around the pitch. But then there's another manager on the other side be like, but my ball winning midfielder is high work rate, high teamwork. The reason he is the ball winning midfielder is very specific because of him, sort of thing. So that again, there's two different managers, which is why it was so interesting just reading through the tweets, because some people's tweets kind of contradicting each other's tweets, and then obviously, but the common thing that I took from it was stamina. A lot of people will look at stamina.
Well, this is one of the things that I always preach about is my TJFM DNA, which I insist upon every single club. Doesn't matter where I am. Like, I will always look for the 4 metrics, which I think are like, they're my non-negotiables. Like, I need a player who's got good determination, high work rate, good level of teamwork, and fitness or stamina. Either of those two, like, they're both relatively interchangeable. You know, because I think that I want players to be able to run for 90 minutes or as close to 90 minutes as they can. I want them to be able to give 110%. Like, because if I've got a player who's got like 9 for work rate and he's tired, I'm like, mate, what have you done? Like, have you been staying up watching films all night or something?
But so attributes are linked, and then there is one. So that response, I got 120 responses from that, which is on Twitter. That's actually a lot. But there was one that kind of caught my eye. It was Vaughn. at Vaughn_dev. He's a developer, it sounds like. The in-game tooltip also mentions that concentration influences how well a player performs the longer he is on the pitch. So it's probably also worth a shout to take that into consideration. So my next question was, what about attributes? Are there any attributes that you look at for when doing a sub, if you're trying to bring someone on or off? And that one, again, is like concentration. I've never ever looked in my life at the attribute concentration when making a sub. You read that tweet and you're like, that just sounds so obvious now that I've got to. Now it's like every time I'm making a sub, concentration. So I kind of, obviously it depends on the game state. We should kind of put that out. If you're 4-0 up, you ain't going to be looking at concentration levels. But if you're 1-0 up and you're holding onto a lead, 10 minutes to go, it is probably now the one attribute you should be looking at. So not maybe should be looking at, but one attribute that can have a big effect in your game. And defensive work, especially if you've got a centre-back with low concentration, all it takes is one slip up from that centre-back and all your good work is done. But then again, you won't really be taking off your centre-back, will you?
You won't be. I'm taking a centre-back off.
No way you do that. I can't play for TJ. That's scary. That's scary.
For those very same reasons. Like if
that's scary.
Like I maybe haven't looked at the concentration attribute per se, but I've maybe encompassed it all within that whole thing of
that. Yeah.
He's tired. He's on a 6.3. Right.
He's going to lose concentration. Yeah.
If there's a mistake coming, I can pretty much pinpoint it's going to be him that's going to make it. Right. The mistake might have been made in the centre midfield, but he's also going to be part of the problem.
Yeah.
If I can get someone who's fresher on the pitch, that might let us win the second ball. You know, like yes, we'll lose the ball
absolutely.
in the field.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? He's not going to be half a yard behind. So it kind of, for me, I'm like risk and reward and balancing it out. But yeah, I change centre backs.
That's scary, man. That's scary. It's probably one position I've never just subbed. I was watching a streamer and it's like he's got this habit of at halftime. So if he's drawing at halftime or 1-goal lead, he'll make a sub, kind of like. We'll just make a sub, just bring off one player that's the worst performing player on the pitch. I'm hooking you at halftime, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously sometimes that's the centre back, and it just takes off the centre back and like my heart's like, what did you just done to your? You can't do that. That's mad.
It's a display of power. It's like let that be a lesson
Wenger
to all
just
of you.
taking off Tony Adams, just like you're on a 5.6, man. I'm taking you.
Yeah, but if Tony Adams is on a 5.6, he's facing the wrong way. You need to take him off. Because think about it the other way around. If Thierry Henry was just stood on the corner flag all through the match, chatting away to people in the stand, you'd be like, Thierry, you're not really adding anything to the game, are you? Like, come on, off you come. We're putting Christopher Ray on. Like, you know, like.
Oh man! Times like this, I wish Steve was here because
he'd be going off it right
now. I would love to hear his response to this. Great centre back off. Wow.
It's time to say hello to the newest sponsor of the FM show. Everybody, say hello to Full-Time Prints. Full-Time Prints offer a variety of prints to give football fans the chance to remember their favourite football moments forever. They currently offer a range of goals, team sheets, commentary, and league tables. Prints are available in A4 through to A1 and can be bought with or without a frame. It makes the perfect gift for occasions such as Christmas, birthdays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, just because presents. Like, seriously, this is the perfect gift for every football fan. You want to go on the website, browse what they've got. They've got so many things to choose from, whether it's teams, European teams, international teams, moments that happen. And if you can't find something you like, you can even do a custom request. You can create anything you've seen yourself. Maybe you've seen a goal you want to relive. You can have that. Maybe you want to relive the first match you ever attended. Or maybe, if you're a Football Manager fan, you might want to do a custom one just designed for Football Manager that immortalizes your save forever. You can have a print done that has all your trophies, the entirety of the save, the key moments. Maybe you want to relive the Champions League final and have your team sheet and everything on there. You can do that with Full-Time Prints. I'm thinking about getting myself one and I'm going to put it right behind my head in my office just behind here. And as a little sweetener for you, we've got a little bit of discount to help you out here. So use the code TheFMShow. We'll get you 10% off your entire order. Go to fulltimeprints.com. Use the discount code TheFMShow. That's 10% off your entire order. And there's free shipping on orders over 50 quid. So go get yourself a full-time print. Immortalize that Football Manager save. Let us know what you've got. Visit fulltimeprints.com. Use the discount code TheFMShow. Get yourself 10% off. And remember, free shipping on orders over 50 quid.
Funny you mentioned Thierry Henry though, because also about the star player as well. So would you gamble as well? Scenario, your favourites to win a home game. It's 0-0. You're approaching the 75th minute. Your star striker's got 20 goals all season, but he's missed 2 clear cuts today. Are you keeping him on, hoping that he'll bury the third chance, or accepting that it's not his day and just hooking him off?
It's a good question, Ian. It's a good question. This is almost FM Would You Rather, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's, again, 2 schools of thought in my head. One, yes, I'd take him off, right? And my chat would go, why have we done that? But I'd sort of like, all right, so Kuzi Azari is up front, right? He's not having it. But you know what?
Great
Nando
example.
number 5's on the bench. I believe in Nando number 5. On you go, right? Go and get yourself a little bit. There's also the other possibility, change formation, keep him on, and add someone else into the mix. To help him, possibly.
Yeah, that's always an option. An option that I never do. It is actually an option that I've never actually thought of it. Again, it's one of those things that when I'm in the game, like I'm scared. I gamble, but I don't gamble. So like you said, like you take a subject, I would never take a centre back. That's just for me. I don't care if you're on a 3.9. I'm sorry, lad, you're staying on. Just get through it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But but when it comes to like, again, the star striker, it's difficult, man. If you score 25 goals, for me, I think I will sub. So the striker I will sub, the centre back I won't. But the only reason why I feel that it will burn me if I don't sub him and we don't score, because then I'm always gonna have that thing in my head that what happens if I took him off? What happens if I took him off? And then what happens if I put the other striker on? He could have scored, sort of thing. But
you also then get the highlight when your substitute comes on. He misses that chance, and you go, "He would have scored that."
You get that as well.
Johnny Class striker would have scored that.
As well. The gambling with formation is a bit of a risky one because, of course, you never know what's going to happen. Like you've been training a 4-3-3 all season. You need a goal. You just dash a 4-2-4. You never know how it's going to go. That's the only reason why I don't do that big change, unless we've already got 2 different formations in the tactics slots sort of prepared. But it's something that you should do. Like I'm not telling people to go against that. I would actually advise it. I'd probably advise myself to do that from time to time. I'm that sort of guy like, all right, we need a push. And then some of you saw it in the video before, like I will start just tweaking duties. Not even the mentality. If I'm playing on the balance, I'll maybe push it up to control, but I would never go overboard and go attacking because actually the opposite could happen. You've gone so direct, you've just lost the ball, counter-attack, now you've conceded. So I will start trying to increase the risk by just the duties and the roles sort of thing. But a whole formation switch, it could be a good idea because not only that you don't know what's going to happen, they don't know what's going to happen, sort of thing. So it's just, But I need the 3 points. I'm just so scared. I'm so scared.
Well, the formation change, for me, I'm with you on this one. That's the biggest risk that I'll do is change a formation. Like so I do play 4-3-3, right? And you say that 4-2-4 is the natural progression from that.
Yeah.
I'll sacrifice my anchor in midfield, right? And I'll put him up top. So at the minute, I'll probably have like Kuzizari would go from advanced forward or pressing forward to target forward. Nando would come in as an advanced forward. So already I'm playing a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting Kuzi Azare to do something different to what he's been doing all match, because maybe that's not been working for him. Maybe I've been asking him to run the channels too much and go, well, you're wasted out there. Like, you just need to be a physical presence. Like, just get the ball to you, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that'll do it. But then it's not just that one change there, is it? Because then it's going, well, hang on, what do I do with my 2 midfieers who just sat in the middle? Like, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, now
what have we done?
Yeah. And I've already changed both centre-backs at this point. So it's like, goalkeeper's getting stripped and ready to come off. He's changed the keeper as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that you do that, you always get the DM, put him up top with the other striker, and then it gets like your centre mids are like, oh, what do I do here? My natural thing is always like the DOP box to box, like the balance thing. That is my natural thing. Yeah, I usually just go for that. But to be fair, I don't ever change my system. It's only when I'm actually creating a 4-2-4, I would use the box to box deep line playmaker. But in the game, changing the system, so it's risky, but it's something that you should try it. It's something that we should definitely try, to be honest.
But it's what you see in real life, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You see that in real life, and that's what changes games is changing the systems, and maybe it doesn't quite replicate per se in game. I mean, like it does have. How do I word this? It seems to have very positive or very negative effects. There's no sort of like do you know what I mean? Like if you look at like a real game of football and you go from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-4, or like a 3-5-2, like you can see there's like a gradual swing in the match. It's not just an all of a sudden like, oh, hang on, you're either like the greatest team ever or you've never played together before. There's no, there seems to be like a bit of balance. Whereas in game, it's very much like you're either going to destroy the team and win 8-0, or you're going to be 8-0 down within 3 minutes.
That is absolutely mental. Have you ever had a super sub? Or do you believe in super subs? Do you believe there could be a player that just can somehow produce that magic? And have you ever had one in Football Manager?
Yeah, 100%. Like you gotta believe in them. That's the whole.
Believe in the magic.
Yeah. Like
you gotta believe in the magic.
Now, hang on. Right, here's the question though: what defines a super sub? Like, because one match is inspired, right? It's just like we've done it. That's the perfect tactical change. But to have a player who you know every time you come on, he's gonna change the game. He's gonna give you something extra. That's a bit different. That sort of super sub, the one that you know, and when it comes to super sub as well, they don't have to score or get an assist. They just have to come on. So for an example, if I'm I was almost, you know what, Jermaine Defoe and Peter Crouch. That was like one of my favorite partnerships. So I was going straight to Tottenham. I was like, ugh. But I was just that sort of thing, like that sort of thing of like, you can imagine like Tottenham playing a 4-3-3 sort of thing, and then that Peter Crouch can be the super sub. He can come on and just automatically just change the way that Tottenham play, and that can always create a chance or two for Tottenham sort of thing. So that's what I mean about super sub. So in Greece, I think I mentioned this on a few episodes ago, we had a guy called Tete who was a wide player. So he played out a wide left. We used to play him inside forward, and we were normally playing an inverted winger, but we played him inside forward because he was 6'3", I think. Oof. Good jumping, pretty strong, like a good physical player. His attributes weren't fantastic, but whenever he was on the pitch, he was always at the back post getting goals. He always got a back post header. Oh. So he was probably our change of impact player. If we were struggling in a match, no matter how good that left winger was, we'd pop Tete on because of where he always would arrive in moments. And I don't know whether it was just psychological that we thought and we believed in him enough that he would do it, or whether there was actually something in the game where he just seemed to be the perfect guy for those moments.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just changed the way, like, it's just, and the thing is that it could be leave the same player role on. It could just be the fact that one player likes to move into the channels, the other likes to come deep to get the ball, and that automatically can just change the way that advanced forward role plays as well. Now, there is a striker at Dynamo Bucharesti that I did have. I'm trying to find his name. I'm on their website now. I'll get his name, but he was a striker. That's it, Hakim Abdallah. Now, this guy, like what you just said, physicals, great. But the technicals, I don't think he had anything there, but for someone...
Never seen a football in his life, but he's like an absolute
never seen a football in his life,
yeah.
But for some odd reason, you bring him on and the highlights will just start rolling in and he's involved in everything, and it's just like, what's in this guy's cup of tea that makes him do this sort of thing? Every time you do it as well.
Adama Traore. Adama Traore,
yes.
clearly not a footballer, right? But you put him on the pitch and it just changes the dynamic, doesn't it? Because people go, what are we meant to do against this guy?
Yeah, automatically, like, Adama Traore's on the pitch, we've got, straight away, they have to defend differently, like, we're stepping back a little bit. That's a good point, actually. That's Traore. The Traore one made me laugh so much, because sometimes I'm like, why are you starting them? Just bring him on.
You've wasted your weapon already.
Yeah, and it's not even to target Adama Traore. There is a few players like that, and like Theo Walcott sometimes as well. I felt was one at Arsenal. Like, he's so frustrating, but he was so effective at coming on when defenders' legs are tired, and you just can't deal with him. So don't start. It was like they have this thing where he comes on, has a good game. Okay, let him start the next game, sort of thing. That's what managers kind of tend to do, yeah. And it's like, but that might be his thing, you know. He could just come on and change the game. But obviously, not all players are going to be like, they don't, from little kids, like, one day I'm going to be in the Premier League to be a super sub.
I want to be really impactful over the last 15 minutes. Right, I like this. I've seen this kid, right? He's brilliant. He's 9. He'll never last 90 minutes, but for the last 15, honestly, I've not seen much better.
That would just be amazing.
He can't concentrate for 90 minutes. He turned around when the ice cream van went past last week. But
that would be funny. Transfer. I just want a contract request in a new role. Super sub.
Well, impact subs in the game now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
a role now.
And you can't say super sub. You have to say super sub. You got to make it sound super special. Sub. Yeah, make it super sub.
Cape on, no.
I can just imagine him warming up with his cape. Like, ref, yeah, you're on now. Super sub.
What I'd like is I'd like him to sit with glasses on, so everyone goes, "Oh, that's really interesting. There's an analyst on the bench," and then he goes, "No, I'm the super sub." We never knew it was him.
I think we've just created a brilliant character here, by the way. We've just created an amazing character.
If you want to talk super subs in real life, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yes.
Absolute impact player.
Yes. He's the official one. The official one. Oh man, that has made me laugh so much. I need to type in super subs football. Just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is literally the first picture you type in super subs. Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, if you get any footballer on game that says could be the next Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, super sub.
Get him.
Get him in. You've got here as well, Aaron, on these. You've got gambling. You've done that one. You've done super sub, stamina. What else have we got here?
The last one would be, is there any particular minute within a match that you look to make subs, or is it just vibes with you?
I think I'm fairly regimented. I tend to feel like I make a sub 54 to 60. I feel as though there's always a change around about half an hour to go. But 54, I've started to go. Like, I've given it 10 minutes in the second half and go, nah, I'm making a change.
Okay, yeah.
Because I've had an idea at half time and I've went, I'll see how this plays out. And it's just not
when you put it like that, it's so crazy. When you said, at the 54th minute, I was like, that's very early. But then when you said, all right, I've given it 10 minutes after half time, you're like, okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah, it's all in there. So 10 minutes in the second half, or around about the half an hour mark. And then I feel like if I'm going to roll the dice, I'm looking at 75.
Okay, yeah. The roll the dice one's the big one. That's the big one. Yeah, around 75, that's the same for me. But sometimes I play games and I'm just going through it. 2-0, 3-0 up. And I'm sure, like, Arteta has this as well. Sometimes I'm like, mate, are you not supposed to make us up? Sometimes I get to like the 70th minute, the 75th minute, we're 3-0 up, breezing. And I'm like, I probably should make us up. I feel like I'm supposed to make us up. I don't feel I need to make us up, but I feel like I'm supposed to make us up. So yeah, I kind of go around the 70th. The 70th minute is around the time I start looking at hearts and right. Who's the lowest one now? Because that's what Twitter told me to do.
What do you do with your youngsters? Do you have youngsters that you bring on to just get some minutes in? Because, like, again, you don't want to bring them on too early and have like too much pressure. But at the same time, if
that's a good question, yeah,
3-0 up or something, you kind of want to give them the reps to get out and play as much football as you can in a winning environment.
My life is too influenced by what Arsenal do in real life. It's just too influenced. So before I will be like 3-0 up. Give the kids a run out, Wenger style sort of thing. Now I'm Arteta, my head's a bit more serious. Now it's like 3-0 on. No, not the kids are still out under 18s. Let's bring on those squad rotation players, the other players that need minutes, sort of thing. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. That. So now I'm bringing on my 27-year-old, my 28-year-old, rather than the 18-year-old and the 17-year-old for a run out. I'm seeing Arsenal make substitutions and bringing Cedric on, a 32, 31-year-old right back. But at the same but Arsenal fans are like, just bring on the 15-year-old, bring on the 16-year-old. But that guy's on the contract too, and he's got to play games, sort of thing. So that's where I'm at as well now, yeah.
Yeah, if he's got an unused sub bonus as well in there, then you want to get him on the pitch, don't you?
Ooh, that is something I don't actually ever look at. Also, the rules. Make sure you look at the rules before you start making substitutions.
I mean, mate, I don't know how many times I need to do this, but somebody needs to tell me how many subs I'm even allowed to make, because I don't know.
I just keep doing it until I get a message.
You can't have any more subs.
Why not?
Interesting. How many did I try and make? As far as I'm aware, it's not 3 subs anymore. It's probably more, but I don't really know how many more or when.
I just remember there was one season where, like, I just forgot that you can make 5 and it was just always 3. But the last one was always a headache because it's just like, right, I've got so many players to choose from. Someone's going to have to, I just pick someone. And there's like, someone's always in the chat like, mate, you've got 2 more subs. And I'm like, I can't even do it anymore because now I've done 3 stoppages. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's confused me. Like, I might have enough subs, but I've not had enough stoppages. The ball's clearly out of play because I've pressed pause. Like, how can it not be out of play now?
Oh my God, man. Have you ever had those subs where you're in the middle of making a sub, you've done the sub, you go back into the game, and the highlights rolling, you get a chance, and you score? Do you click that yes button or that no button?
Cancel. Sit back down. He saw that. He saw it. Good. You got them all vibed up. Excellent.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I've had a couple of those incidents where I'm literally subbing up the player who's just gonna score. You get that message like, "Do you want to make this sub?" And it's harsh. It's like, I don't know if I make that sub, does it leave that guy now on the 6.6 instead of the 7.1 that he should be getting because he scored now? Okay. So I'm like, no, let me protect his average rating first because I'm a rating merchant. So first, let's protect.
There's a t-shirt, isn't it? I'm a rating merchant.
Yeah.
Where you'll have had this? You'll have had this one as well, right? Where you go to make your sub and you're sort of going, right, I've spent time working out the exact player that's going to be removed. I've tweaked a role, I'm ready to go. You press continue, and then that player either then gets injured or sent off straight away.
So actually, I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. So a couple of days ago, right, some guy actually rattled me because he started talking about my tactics, and he's been around on. He's like one of those trolls. He goes on Football Manager accounts and he tries to annoy any creator that's creating at that moment. So he started doing all of this. Well, your tactics are bad. I've tried it. Blah 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 blah. You don't play any good teams. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna press record in OBS. And then I'm just gonna post it on Twitter. Like, it's literally just me just posting full matches on Twitter, sort of thing. And it's funny because the guy's like, well, now play a good team. I'm like, fine, play Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen away, beat them. And then he just goes complete silent. But then I started like, hey, this is actually quite fun, just posting full matches on Twitter. So I just started doing it earlier today. That same thing. So I've done my change. I've literally just done the change. I think it's Norwich going on attack. My left back just decides, right, 2 foot, boom, halfway line, just 2 foot in. The whole plan now is just gone out of the window. Yeah. And it's just like, that's a bit of an annoying one there, yeah. So yeah, it is annoying when you've done all that planning, careful planning, and you just get that one donut that wants to throw everything out the window by doing a 2 foot challenge, which is a very difficult challenge actually now, because I think at that point the game was 2-1. That's the brilliant thing. The game was 2-1 at that point as well. It was winning. It was first against second as well. And then so I've had to do my little tactical changes. literally as well. So you do the tactical change, you go back into the match engine, a highlight loads up straight away. So now they've got a highlight from that resulting free kick. I'm like, no, you're now I've just done all that work and they're going to concede now. But they've done all of that. They played some nice football, got through 1-on-1. It's gone wide. And I'm like, yes, please hold on now. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, highlight loads up. Is there a corner? I'm like, no. They whip it in, we head it out. And then I could just see, I think it's Nonto. And as soon as I saw him running up and getting the ball, I was like, they can't catch him. And then we just go run and he just smashes it. And I'm just going mental. But it's just like, damn, no one saw. I was like, I wish I had the camera on because this is how passionate I am about tactic testing. I was fuming with that red card. And then when we scored, literally just 5 minutes later, I was just going mental in my room. Mental.
I did some mentals as well this week when we did the game to get us into the Euros, the conference. Like I was sat there because obviously we'd had the 12-hour one the day before where everything had gone badly, and I was like, oh, here we go. This is like going to be awful. Like we streamed on the Monday night, and even then it was like, I can't believe I've bottled it. And we hadn't because we were predicted 5th, but like it felt like a bottle.
It felt like a bottle, yeah.
And then I was like, right, you know what? When we did that win against Volosh, I was celebrating every goal. I was like running around the room. I was like,
honestly, they are the best moments of Football Manager, man. Those are the best moments. But I don't understand how I can get so wrapped up in the game like that in a tactic test. Like it's not even a save that it's not even a save that you just put like your heart into it. It's literally a tactic test. But sometimes you get so into that match as well. Like it just feels real. Like especially I had the speakers on as well with the match sound. So it's just like it just felt real, yeah. And it's just like that red card. Because it was a good result as well. That's another thing. Like obviously you're creating a tactic and like, actually if we beat this team away from home, that's actually a very good result with this tactic sort of thing. And it's like, this guy just threw everything out the window. I can't even show off on Twitter anymore. I have to post this result on Twitter. And it's just like, yeah. It just felt like a huge relief for that third goal win. And I was just going mental. Like, I literally jumped up behind this chair. And I was just like, just jumping back. Like, no one's seeing this.
Got flare out.
Yeah. My kids can hear it as well. But nah, man, that moment. But it's one of those moments, though, it's just like, I don't know if you, like, obviously, many listeners and viewers will be playing Football Manager offline. And there are going to be moments like that. You're just like, I wish someone saw that, man. I wish someone saw that. With that, people did see it, but they didn't see my reaction. And I'm now like, I wish they saw my reaction because my reaction was better than the clip. I feel anyway. I hope. Yeah.
Just thinking about this, with this attributes and ratings and stamina, right? One thought I had, okay? Say how you get, right? So say, for example, you've got, and I don't know why it always feels to be, but it feels like fullbacks and wingbacks are probably the ones that have like disproportionately low ratings.
Yes.
Right? Is there a thought process that your left wingback, for example, has a 6.2? Your right wingback has a 6.9. You may be going, left wingback's the problem. But maybe you've not been going down the left-hand side. So your left wing back's not been getting involved in the play. Or maybe your left wing back is actually being exposed by your Mazzala in front of him, who's not coming back and doing some help. Maybe being exposed by the centre back who's next to him, who's not helping because they've seen him as the weakness. So do you know what I mean? Like
I could just imagine. I'm sorry. I could just imagine someone just literally listening to the podcast, taking notes down earlier what we said about 10 minutes ago, and now just be like, "Oh, for flip's sake, Tony! I've got to think about something else."
but that is possibly it, though, isn't it? Like, if the more you start to think about it, you're like, right, is he having a bad time because he's playing badly, or is he having a bad time because other people around him aren't helping him?
I wish I had that answer, that reply for the tweets as well. I wish I had that one.
Response to the tweet, shut up.
It's not straightforward, is it? Damn.
But do you know what I mean? Like, because if you...
It's true, though.
I think wingback's a reasonable example to look at, right? So your wingback might be getting a fairly low rating because maybe he can't push on because he's being pressed back.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And then people automatically just going to think subbing him is going to fix it, but then...
Yeah, but it's not. It's the midfield needs to help out to free the space up for him to get past. Maybe.
Now people would have to press pause to sub to make a sub. Now there's going to be sitting back. Right, what's his concentration? What's happening down the left? There's so many notes before they even make the sub. That's actually a very good one. Now that one there is probably something that I'm going to look at a lot closely as well, especially if I'm using a wing back and I've got it inside forward ahead of him. Now it's starting to make sense. Even if my left back is getting just ripped on 1v1, maybe the reason is because not him, it's the left winger. And in real life football, it will be easier to spot that sort of thing. It's like, why has Ben White so much trouble? Saka, track back sort of thing, yeah. But obviously in Football Manager, this is what I mean, that do you trust match ratings? Because in Football Manager, all you see is not all you see, because many of us watch comprehensive or extended, but then many of us will watch key as well. So it's like, what's he doing at 6.2? And automatically we just think it's him. He must be the reason for his own rating sort of thing. But yeah, what's happening around him also will take an effect.
Because thinking about the roles like pressing winger, we used to call them defensive winger, of course, is what they're actually called in the game. But we're like, it's a pressing winger. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a pressing winger.
Like that could help. That could help your wing back if you've got a winger on attack or an inverted winger. If they became a defensive winger, then all of a sudden you're pressing their player. That winger is closing down to allow the wing back a little bit more space. Maybe I'm thinking about it too, sort of logically.
I don't think you are. No, I don't think you are. I don't, because that's how the game will read it. That's how the game will read it anyway. Like, it's not going to tell you that, hey, your left winger is leaving your left back exposed. That's the reason why he's got 6.2. But it makes sense if your left back can't complete many tackles, maybe because there's a 2v1 on your left back. So it's something that you might have to study yourself. I don't think you're actually talking too logical as well, because even today I was listening to an Arsenal podcast and they were talking about Saliba and Gabriel. And all season I've been saying that Gabriel is the one. Obviously Saliba is like the new shiny toy, but Gabriel is the one. And there's many reasons, but there's someone that mentioned a very good reason as well. And it's like, this guy has to play with many different left backs. Saliba has the same right back all the time. Ben White. You know what to expect. But then when you have a different left back, because he's pushed forward, now you have to defend differently. But then the other left back likes to come inside. You have to, again, defend differently. And that can have an effect on Gabriel, which it did, which many of us believed before. Like last season, he was left to expose. You go to Anfield, Zinchenko is going inside the middle of the pitch, which leaves Gabriel 1v1 with Mo Salah, which no defender wants to be. Yeah. But automatically, we're saying Gabriel didn't have a great game, but really, he had to do ×2 defensive work, because he's not only defending his area now, he has to defend another area, which has an effect on his game, has a toll on his game. So I don't think you are thinking too logical. It's actually it's actually pretty simple. And again, one of those things that is easily missed on Football Manager, especially when they're using roles like pressing forward and ball winning midfielders. That these are players that will leave their position often.
Yeah.
It can leave others exposed if they don't win the ball or you don't regain possession. Now your ball winner, instead of it being in a double pivot, is now in a single pivot. And if the opposition are playing 3 at the back with 2 attacking midfielders, that's automatically 2v1 on your defensive midfielder. Now, if your defender's getting a 6.1 because he can't tackle, it might not necessarily strictly be on him. And it actually might not even be on the ball winning midfielder. Sorry to say, it might be you. You might...
it might be a striker. Your striker's not held the ball up, possibly. It could be things, that. Your striker's not held the ball up, so your ball winner's on support, so he's too high up the pitch to try and win the second ball.
Yeah.
Exposed. Your defender's then looking around going, hang on, where's everyone gone?
Yeah, it's true. And if you do, many of us, if you do actually watch a lot of the goals that you do concede, like many of it will be on a transition, and it's like because some players are pushed up further, leaving spaces, and you just get counter-attacked, and your defenders will take the hit on their rating, but was it your defender? Did your defender play that dodgy, wonky pass in midfield? Was it your...
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yes,
Answer me this. Where has that absolute suicide ball come from, by the way?
Exactly.
Like players just sat comfortably, no pressure, really confident player goes, I could just play the nice little ball inside or down the wing, just inside, or I could just turn and launch it straight towards the opposition player.
Again, many people can see this on my Twitter. So moments ago, I did just blame one of my defenders for getting a red card, but Ampadu just put the guy in suicide. I mean, it was a dead free kick.
There, doesn't it?
Yeah, like it was literally a dead free kick. He had options. For some reason, he just chose to undercook this pass. Like, it was just so badly undercooked. The moment he left his foot, it's like, oh, this is a bit of a challenge. Now, what the defender decided to do is just take the guy out.
He's worked out. He's not come to his feet.
Yeah. But now that defender that got the red card takes the hit. But he took one for the team because of the poor pass.
It's his fault. The man it's all about what happens around it. It's not just black and white, is it?
My God. Tony, I think we're going to become football managers for real. We figured it out.
Have we though? Or would we spend most of the match on the sidelines going, well, I don't know who would take off because it's his fault. And by that point, we're 4-0 down because we've not been watching. Get your glasses off. Get your glasses off. You're going on. But Steve sat in the corner going, this isn't very much like Fiorentina, is it? stick to the script, fellas. Stick to the script.
Well, I do hope that some people, there was a lot of information, but this is this sort of thing that happened on my tweet, right? Like, I put the tweet out, and then it's like, some people will answer, or there are some others that are reading other people's answers and like, oh, that's a brain thing. And then they start challenging other people's comments and stuff. And they're like, man, I didn't even think about that. And it's just like, some of these things do sometimes get you to approach the game differently and have think about certain things now as well. Because again, many people will, when they're making subs, will just look at someone that's playing 6.6, hook him off, or they will sort out their fitness thing. So they'll press that little button and they get all the most tired players first and just start taking off the most tired players. And it's just like, but there might be a deeper thing to it where you actually might be affecting your result here by taking off the wrong players, or maybe that player's not even playing bad. It's the player in front of him that's playing bad, and maybe you can't see it because he scored the goal. So FM's giving him a 7.7. You don't even think about hooking him off, sort of thing. Yeah.
Stuff, innit? Just
and it's not even like you have to take him off. You don't even think about changing his role. Like, you just think he's got his goal, he's having a good game, just leave it, sort of thing. But your left back's on the 6.6. And to me, that doesn't now in hindsight, that doesn't tell you that's a good relationship. If one's on the 6.6 and one's on 7.7, pretty individual there. If one's on the 7, like, I will be way more happier both of them be on a 7 rather than one having a good game and one having a bad game. I'd rather both be on a 7, and it's kind of balanced. That side looks pretty strong now, and there's no sort of weak link.
There we go. I think.
Sure, yeah.
But you know what? I think that's the discussion point, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Genuinely, anyone who's listened to this, if you've got this far, right, let us know your thoughts, because we don't have all the answers. We've worked it out. We've gone back and forth and
I think I've got more questions. I think after this podcast, I've got more questions.
I'm going to write into the podcast and go, right, TJ and Aaron, right? You said on last episode.
I'm going to play that prank to Steve. I'm going to do that. I'm going to send to the email. I'm just going to use a fake email. I'm going to use the Mrs. email. Just send us an email in. Right, this one's for Steve.
Yeah. Can't you explain what Aaron and TJ were on about the other week? Oh man. But do let us know, though, honestly, like, because I think that's what helps everyone's understanding of the game develop. So come into the Discord, start chatting away in there, chat in our streams, send us messages via Twitter or Facebook. You know, probably can't send us messages via TikTok, but you know what I mean. Like just try and correspond with us, Aaron. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or maybe send us an email, because as you've seen, this is quite wordy, really. It is. We're trying to get it all down. Maybe send us a video of what you're trying to explain. Right, in this scenario, X, Y, and Z happens. But Steve's left the mailbag open for us, and Nath, who is in the Discord, has given us some hellos. He says, hello, everyone. I'm Nath. I'm 35 years old. Nice to meet you. Football Manager, Championship Manager has been pretty much a major part of my life from about the age of 13. Currently playing FM24. Welcome in. I've started my 10th season at Paris FC with the overall aim of knocking city rivals PSG off their perch.
Oof.
Season 7 and 9 produced League Earn title wins, Aaron.
Oof. I mean,
7 seasons and you've already won the title with Paris FC? Formidable.
Yeah. Sometimes things kind of happen a bit quick. Sometimes, though, not so quick. Not so quick. I'm happy it happened for you, though, because when I was at Lyon, with good players, good money after a few seasons, just nowhere close, just never challenging them. And it always gets to around like the 25th, 26th game where you think you've got the chance. Then you realise we have no chance.
You lose 6 games in a row and you're like, where's that come from?
Yeah, you lose 2 in a row, but you lose like tight games, but then you see PSG literally winning like 7-0 in the business and you're like, yeah, not this year, lads. Not this year.
Well, it's like real life, innit? You know, February, Haaland and De Bruyne, you just go, I think we need to win all the games now, don't we?
Yeah, just kind of turn it up now. Yeah. Let's cook now. We're hungry.
Exactly.
We also had Espresso Cat join the Discord as well. Hello, a 32-year-old trans woman from Sweden. I love Football Manager, YouTube, football, and Pokemon. In Football Manager world, I manage Geisley, one of my favorite clubs. Whoa, wait.
Shout out to Jack's Geisley, isn't it?
The thing is, the moment I say Geese, I was like, I've had this conversation with someone recently. That in my head is like, I've had this conversation with recently. But yeah, sorry, I manage Geisley, one of my favorite clubs. Now I've just that word is giving me trauma. Just got up to League Two after going before Notts County last. I might have to read that one again. So he just got up to League Two after beating Notts County in the last game, and they lost their last match, and she won her last as well. So that's just, sorry, man, that Geisley's just throwing me off completely. On YouTube, you're also doing a series as well, starting unemployed, got a job at Liverpool AFC in level 9. My big goal was to Tony, you tell me this match just
big goal. The big goal is to make it all the way. All the way,
yeah.
So.
You and Steve are so good at that, you know. You're reading messages, but you just can word it or rearrange it very quickly, whereas I'm literally reading word for word for word. Oh my days.
Well, over on YouTube, let's move from YouTube. And let's move from Geisley, right? Another reference, however, to Jack and Work the Space. Shout out, of course, to Work the Space. Last week's episode. If you haven't seen it, go and have a watch of it. It was absolute belter. Nath Hosker says, brilliant episode, gents. Didn't at all feel like 2 hours. I mean, this is probably going to feel about 2 hours as well, isn't it? Could have been even longer. Loved it. Jack's Rugby Town Park to Prem save is a staple of my daily life. Couldn't go without it. Jack, will you pronounce Gasperi's name differently now you know the accent is in a different place? P.S. J League 4 sounds like utter madness.
It does sound like utter madness as well. Thank you as well to Jack as well. I have noticed a couple of his viewers, his supporters, have enjoyed our episode and content as well. I think 1 or 2 have watched some of the old ones as well and have followed us over as well. So appreciate that from Jack, and of course to those new supporters.
Yeah, we'll do one email, I think, that's come in from Andy Nash. Now,
yes,
Aaron, you've got it up on your screen saying, hello, Andy Nash from America.
Yes. So, one sec.
I said he's got on his screen. He hasn't. It's a lie.
I closed the tab.
Yeah,
so,
I said, Aaron, if you put the script, the email in the script, you went, yeah, it's on my screen.
The thing is, I had it in the script, and then I removed it because it was just like, it was a bit confusing. So the question that I wanted to read out is that obviously he wanted us to talk more tactical, get into those deep dives, such as the difference between tiki-taka, vertical tiki-taka, and control possession. But I don't think he wanted to know the answer right now, but I thought it was a very intriguing question. What are the pros and cons of having a single pivot versus a double pivot? It's a really good question.
I think it's an episode waiting to happen.
Tony Tactics.
2 is always better than 1.
Quite literally for defensive reasons, like quite literally.
Yeah.
For defensive reasons, a double pivot will be better. You can create as well wider overload. So if you're playing in a 4-2-3-1, it's easier for your right defensive midfielder just to shift over to the right-hand side while you're building up. But one of the drawbacks is that now you've got sort of you've lost an attacking player, you can say. And also you don't want if you've got two deep creators, you don't want them operating in the same space. But the main one for me, the main con I would say with a double pivot is that you've sort of lost an attacker. Now you've got less of an attacking threat, unless of course you can get one of your defensive midfielders to pop up forward, but that's obviously high demanding for a reason.
For me, I think the answer feels like it's the answer to every single question in FM. It depends. Because
quite
literally, if you've got players who can play in a double pivot, they're more than likely going to be pressured a lot. So you're going to want players who've got high composure, decent decision making. They're going to have to be able to play the ball pretty quickly. They've got good vision. But it's all well and good having good vision if you can't play the right pass. And then again, look at the players up the top, where they're making their runs, where they're moving. Exactly. So it's not just the double pivot, it becomes a triple pivot almost, Aaron, where you're thinking about your players at the top. And again, it just puts more pressure on your team somehow. Sometimes one pivot works perfectly well. Sometimes there's no pivot. Sometimes the goalkeeper's the pivot. Boot it as far as you can to the goalkeeper. And that also works.
There are certain players. So obviously, if I have a Rodri, a Declan Rice, I'm like, I don't need someone next to him. But let's say, I don't know why, Erdegaard just popped in my head. But if I had like someone at his frame playing in defensive midfield, then I kind of want someone else next to him. Or if I've got Pirlo, excellent passer, I might want to get the best out of that. Not that he needs someone next to him, but I might want to get the best out of that and have someone like a Kante next to him doing all the dirty work, allowing Pirlo to do his sexy stuff on the pitch.
Yeah. So, as always, it depends.
That's just my answer.
You know what? I think it's an episode though. I think it's an episode. Let's look at some examples, and we can have we'll screen up and stuff, and we'll do it.
Difference
examples
between
of the difference
forward
between
inverted wingers.
A double pivot, a single pivot, the sorts of roles you can use within that as well, which will change it up completely as well. So that's definitely something that we'll explore, Andy, in the next couple of weeks, along with the sort of the other question you had with regards to possession and tiki taka. Obviously, if anyone else wants to send us any more correspondence, please do feel free. The social media channels are, Aaron.
God damn. It depends. So, please keep every little bit of correspondence that you may have. Please keep it coming through on our social media channels, which is at the FM Show Pod, and that is on Twitter. That is also on TikTok and all the good social medias.
And as we say, come and join us in Discord as well. And if you've got any longer correspondence, drop us an email, thefmshowpod@gmail.com. And Aaron, if they want some more of the good stuff, where can you get more good stuff?
Well, you can get some good stuff on YouTube, but you can also get some exclusive stuff on our Patreon. That is patreon.com/the-FM-show-pod.
Perfect. Love it. I think this has been an excellent episode, to be honest. I've really enjoyed it. Hope you have as well. Let us know what you've enjoyed below. Make sure you like the videos if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from, because that was episode 37 of the FM Show, hosted by myself, Tony Jameson. My co-host was the one and only Aaron Falloon, a.k.a. RDF Tactics. Our producer is Steve Hankey. Take care of yourselves. See you all soon. We're back with another one next week.
It depends. That's my favorite thing now.
Want to learn even more about Football Manager? Subscribe to the Patreon. Just visit patreon.com/thefmshowpod. Don't forget to rate and review, and follow along on the socials at the FM Show Pod.